Hi guys, we're now joined by our Xfinity drivers. Elliott Sadler, driver of the number 1 Main Financial Chevrolet. Ross Chastain, driver of the number 4 Florida Watermelon Association Chevrolet. And Ryan Reed, driver of the number 16 Drive Down A1C Lilly Diabetes Ford. Just to kind of kick it off, you guys have had 2 off weekends. Can you kind of tell us about what you did and how you prepare to get back?
Yeah, I'll get us started. So the first weekend was actually really cool. I went out, flew out to Indianapolis, and hung out with a friend of mine, Connor Daly, and made a pretty cool announcement that he's going to be joining me at Road America in the number 6. He's also going to be a Lilly Diabetes Drive Down A1C Ford, which is really cool, and I think it's a very cool partnership to kind of have 2 drivers with diabetes supporting each other as teammates, and then ultimately contending with each other, hopefully for a win.
We didn't do much. We spend all our time at the ballparks, so I mean that's where we were pretty much every night of the 2 weeks off. Had a pretty emotional week this week. One of my best friends in the world had some major surgery, found some tumors inside of his body, and just found out yesterday that they were benign. So we got some good news from that. But it's been a kind of a tough week that puts a lot of things in perspective, and kind of makes you know what's important to focus on. But it was good that all happened on our weeks off, so we could all be together and be there to support. And but it's good to be back in the race car, definitely.
Glad he's okay.
Yeah, I raced. Ran the Cup car at Kansas and then the All-Star car here last week. So no off weeks for me. My only one, I guess, this year will be Easter weekend. Was I got to go home for that, and then I'll run straight through to Thanksgiving. So got to be comfortable, man. Making fun of my shoes, but yeah. So didn't take any time off. Did a 3-week run where I never came back to Charlotte. So started at Talladega and came back for the All-Star practice last Friday morning. Drove all night to get here and hopped in some trucks to help some kids out, and just trying to make the most of my time on track. So that's my life.
Great. I want to open the floor for questions. Right here, Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport 2 for Ryan. First, talking about Connor and making his Xfinity debut at Road America this summer. What are do you have any expectations? I know you guys were talking at the announcement. What do you feel like he's going to be capable of in his stock car debut?
I mean, I think that it's a lot of unknown. I think you've seen a lot of guys go into making the open wheel to stock car transition, and we've seen it take all different time lengths. And I think the good thing is for him is that they're on a road course, and a road course he has a lot of laps on. So I fully expect that Connor will be competitive. I know he's going to be in Charlotte a lot, spending a lot of time trying to learn and absorb as much as he can before the event. And then also too, I think us being friends, is going to help as well. I think he can go into it with obviously a little bit more comfortable situation joining us at Roush Fenway. So I think my expectation is that he does really well, and I think we'll all work really hard to make that happen.
Obviously, too, a lot of success over the years for Roush Fenway's Xfinity Series program. You've been a part of that the last few years. Your thoughts, reactions on Jack being in the Hall of Fame?
Man, I said earlier, I was relieved just because Jack is so deserving of it, and I would have I'd been pretty disappointed to see a year go by and him not be a part of it and be inducted. But he's an amazing owner. He's an amazing friend. He's an amazing mentor. And it's not just to me. I mean, so many individuals, drivers, crew chiefs, tons of people in the garage. He's influenced their career and got them to where they are today. And he can do it all. He can go down there and work on the race car, work on the engine. Talk about aerodynamics. He knows what it takes to make a good pit stop. He's the most, in my opinion, one of the most well-rounded owners in the garage.
Right to Woody.
Woody came with MRN. For Ryan, I wanted to ask about your track walk tomorrow. Can you tell us more about that? And for Elliott, about the aero package after we saw the Cup guys run it in the All-Star race. You guys have had it for about a year now. What are your expectations for it at Pocono?
Yeah. On the track walk, yeah, so tomorrow afternoon we're going to have, at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a track walk out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it's just, we did it last year and it was a huge success. And so basically what it is Lilly Diabetes and I are inviting everyone to come out, walk the 1.5 mile racetrack, check it out. And it's really just to encourage a healthy, fun activity. Come out and join me and a whole bunch of other folks. We're going to have a pit wall banner that you can sign, and we're actually going to have that banner on our pit wall during the race. And so it just continues to show the commitment from Lilly Diabetes to make a positive, healthy impact. And I know for me, living with diabetes, it's so hard, especially when we're traveling a lot, to get that exercise in. So even something as small as a 1.5 mile walk, which I guess that's not that small, but it makes all the difference in the world and can, for me, make a huge difference in my health.
My take on the aero package last year, I thought it was a great race. I thought it was one of the best races we had all year, especially one of the best races we ever had at Indy in the Xfinity cars because of the package. It does a lot of different things. It brings more people into play because you can't get away. It's not like the leader knock can get away with the drag that it creates, especially at the longer straightaways like we're going to have at Indy, like we're going to have at Pocono in Michigan. The leader cannot make a great turn and just get away from the rest of the pack. With the draft, it's just going to bring that second, third, fourth, fifth place car into play before the entry of each and every corner. So to me, the racing's closer, the racing's better. It's harder, in my opinion, because it's almost a halfway kind of hybrid between a normal race and also a speedway race. You got to know when to draft, when to push, when to pull out. If you can't make the pass, can you clear the guy? Are they going to leave you out? I mean, all these things come into play. So I enjoyed the package. I enjoyed watching it last week here, to be honest with you, in the All-Star race. And the biggest key to that package, the longer the straightaway is, the more this package comes into play because the draft is going to work more. Yes, the cars drive a little easier. Yes, so they're going to handle a little better. But it's going to bring that much more people into play because of the drag part of it. And that, at the end of the day, creates really good racing for the fans, but also creates a lot of chances for maybe teams and drivers that wouldn't normally have that good of a chance to win on that style of track. So all in all, I think it's healthy for our series, especially the Affinity, series.
Any final questions? Caleb?
Caleb Whistler, KickingTheTires.net. Ross, how much do you take from what you're learning in the Premium Motorsports Cup cars to the JD Motorsports in the 4 car?
A lot. It's definitely it's helping me a ton. Elliott can probably speak to it as his many years of doing it. It's just a sensation of speed is the biggest thing for the normal packages we run. The low downforce stuff on both series. And then what I felt last week for the different package that we'll run now a few more times in the Xfinity series, the more banking the track has, I felt like played a large part in keeping the cars close together. We didn't race too much last week, but just the sheer amount of banking here at Charlotte, and when we go to Michigan, for example, will be a big added benefit that we didn't have at Indy to keep the cars as close together as we can. But straight up car to car, it's laps are laps for me, and I want as many as I can.
I'm going to go right up front to Mike Neff.
Mike Neff, frontstretch.com. For Elliott and for Ross, especially since you've been in the Cup car so recently. Talking with Corey LaJoie, he was one of the more critical people of the aero package, although he's backed off of that a little bit. He said his biggest dislike of it was that he felt like it took driver ability out of things, that a Cup car should be as hard as it could possibly be to drive, and he felt like it made it easier to drive it. The argument against that is that it makes it more raceable and lets you put things into a spot where you might not normally put it. What's your both take on ability or difficulty in driving a car versus ability to race with the car?
So this is my opinion, right? Like everybody has an opinion. That package makes the car easier to drive when you're by yourself. Yes, that is a true statement because you're not running as fast into the corner. This car is stuck more because you have more downforce on the car. But my take on it, when you're in traffic, when you have to make decisions, when you're tandem with each other through turns 1 and 2 on a restart at Charlotte, and people pushing the way you are, I think the difficulty actually goes up. Because the difficulty of racing goes up because you're closer to each other. It's a whole lot easier to drive a car when there's nobody around you. But when you're 2 and 3 wide, and we saw 4 wide, which didn't work out great turn 3, but I think the difficulty goes up. I was kind of dumbfounded this week seeing some of the media people write that the racing, it didn't take as much as a talented person to drive those cars because of that package. And I'm sitting there thinking, I know now that that guy absolutely knows nothing about racing. That when you put people all on top of each other on a 1.5 mile track and racing 2 and 3 wide in the great racing we saw, to me, that's more skill to it. And at the end of the day, we saw the cream rise to the top, right? If it didn't take as much driving talent to win, why did the same guy that's winning all the races make the better moves and win the race, right? I mean, all the fast cars work their way up to the front. So, yes, it is easier to drive by itself, but when you start racing and you got to start making decisions, and we heard drivers talking about looking in the rearview mirror more during the race than they were out the front windshield, it's a different style of driving talent, but there's a lot going on. Now you got to learn how to block. You got to learn how to side drive. You got to know when to push. There's a lot more mental game to it. So I don't disagree 100% with what Corey's saying, but Corey really wasn't up in the middle of everything that was going on either, where you had to use all those different techniques as well. But as a fan sitting at home, I thought the race was amazing.
Yeah, well, I stayed back and didn't get up there and race. That was our plan. But, I mean, I don't know, Corey's critical of a lot of things, right? So I'm great friends with him, so I can say that. But, you know, I don't think it's fair to come out and say that after the first time they were in a Cup car package with all that, because, like you said, even back where I was, it was tough. Just trying to let all those guys race and just do our deal. It was even tough for us, you know, and trying to manage guys coming by us. It would pit, and we were, you know, on our own plan. So no, it takes, like Elliott said, everything he said is, I echo it. There's a whole nother set of skills that you have to kind of learn and try to sharpen, I guess. I don't know, but it's things that you never thought of before, and you can throw some things away that you used to do as a driver, you know, but it's tough. Anybody that says it's easy is crazy.
Any final questions? Lee?
Elliott, where do you think that package would work for Cup moving forward?
Lee, I might get in trouble for saying this because I don't know where the Cup guys stand for, you know, on it. I think some of the drivers will push back on it because it brings so many other teams into play. If I'm a Cup driver right now and I have a gain on the field, a little edge, I don't want that package because I want to keep my edge, right? I think anywhere you have long straightaways at is a major play in it. I think Pocono and Michigan coming up will be two great racetracks to run that package at for the Cup guys. Oh, Indy, definitely. But, you know, since Indy, where it's at on the schedule, as far as chase implications, I'd rather run it at Pocono first here coming up in a couple weeks. I think after what we saw in the All-Star race, run it at Pocono, see what you get. But anywhere where the straightaway length is longer is really going to affect it a lot. I think Pocono would be one heck of a race, Cup race with that. Because can you imagine the pit strategy play on top of it that you don't have at Charlotte, but you have at Pocono because it's such a long track? People pit early when they know they're inside their pit window, throw that into drafting, and everybody pitting at the same time. You might have to pit in groups because of drafting. I mean, all this stuff can play out to make Pocono, in my opinion, a great race if they had that package. And in Michigan as well because of the length of the straightaways and the corner speeds. But it's easy for me to say that because I'm not in the Cup car. But that would just be my opinion with my fan hat on, sitting at home.
Well, luckily, the Xfinity Series is going to run it at Pocono, Michigan, so we'll show everybody what it'll look like.
Well, good luck this weekend, guys. And Ryan, have fun at tomorrow's Little W Walk, okay?
Thank you.